Hey craft friends, are you ready for a Pottery Barn versus Lowe's DIY dupes? These are going to be our 3 inspiration pieces. Now let's go ahead and head into Lowe's and see what we can find. And keep in mind, when you're duplicating or using these pieces for inspiration, we're doing just that. They're inspiring us with their color combinations and their style. And this is going to be our first inspiration piece from Pottery Barn. For this project, we're going to be using this piece from Pottery Barn as our inspiration. And what you'll need is you'll need some dowels, some square dowels. These are 3/4 inch dowels. I purchased 2 of them at Lowe's. You'll need a piece of 1x6, which has been cut down. And actually this measures 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches square. You'll also need some spindles. And you can make these dowels as big or as small as you like. I just used the 3/4 because that's what my spindles are. They're the 3/4 inch and they're perfect match with these square dowels. Now, I got these from the trash in my neighborhood. I mean, look at that. Who would throw those away? I don't know, but I'm winning, right? But if you don't have like the spindles, you could make them out of these pieces of trim that I found from Lowe's, and you just put them together and they make like a spindle type style. But, so that's just an option too. Or you could also use stair spindles that I saw at Lowe's as well. They also sell them at Home Depot. And you'll need a piece of 1x6 that's been cut down. Now, as some of you know, a 1x6 does not measure the true 6 inches across. It measures 5.5. So this is 5.5 inches square. And you'll also need some wood glue. So let's go ahead and get to building. And to start this project, I've been thinking about it, the best way to do it. And I think the best way, well, anyway, I think this is the best way. We'll see if that pans out. But I'm going to start building the top square first. So let me go ahead and cut my wood. And what you need to cut your wood to the size is you're going to need to cut it to the size of your base piece. And it's that simple. And I'll show you how I'm going to put mine together once I get the wood cut. So let's go ahead and do that now. Now we have our pieces cut, our 4 pieces. We're going to make our square. And I'm going to be using my framer square to do that because I'm not very good at keeping things straight when I glue them. So we're going to take some of this new Titebond. Well, it's not new. It's new to me. And it's the premium wood glue, and it's water resistant for interior and exterior. So I figured that would be good. And then the set time is fast. So, and it says it's stronger than wood. So we'll see. We will see. But what we're going to do is we're going to put our first block in the corner of our framer square. Then we're going to take and put some glue. Oops, I got a little too much there, I think, but that's okay because we'll just blend it in. Also, make sure when you're gluing this that you glue on something that it won't stick to. Like I use this silicone mat, but you can also use wax paper or parchment paper too. And then we're just going to push those together and kind of clean up the glue a little bit. I got it everywhere. I used a little too much, but you know what? It's kind of good that it's flowing out like that because then it kind of fills in the gaps there. Well, they're not gaps, but you know what I'm saying. So now we're going to take our other piece and our third piece, and we're going to glue it right down beside this piece. And I think I can keep this square. I hope. So let's go ahead and just put a little glue here. Try not to use as much as I did before. I was a little too much. And then we'll just smash it into the edge there and kind of clean up our... And you can also sand this once you get it put together, once it's dried and put together. And while we're letting this dry, we're going to continue on with our project. I just can't move this right now because I'm committed to this spot, but that's okay. we're perfectly good. We're going to take our other dowel, square dowel, and we're going to cut it in 4 pieces measuring 6 inches. So let's go ahead and do that while we're waiting for this to dry. Now that we have our 4 pieces cut, we're going to put them together with our spindles. So let's go ahead and just gently move this out of the way here. We'll just set it over here to dry. Finish drying, and we're going to take our spindle and our wood piece and we're going to glue those together like this. We want them to fit in the center of our wood pieces. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm pretty sure, just from looking at it, I think I'm going to get lucky and be able to just put them together and let them sit, because I think that, yeah, that kind of centers them up pretty good. So we'll do that. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do that. So let's go ahead and get our glue back out. And then we're going to do that to all 4 of our pieces. Okay, and now we're going to let these dry. Okay, now we have our spindles glued to our square dowel. And our next step, we want to take and glue these 2 pieces, which are 2-inch long pieces, 2 2-inch long pieces. And we're going to glue this dowel that I cut down, this spindle, and we're going to glue that to the inside of our 2 pieces like that. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and then we're just going to let this dry. And then once our handle has dried, we're going to glue it onto our piece, our top piece. So let's go ahead and do that now. And now we'll let this dry and continue on once it's dried. Now I thought while our top is drying, I'm going to put some feet on my little pedestal here. And I'm going to be using pieces of the spindle. I have one that's bigger than these spindles, and I just decided to cut it off and use it as the feet. So I'm going to glue those onto the bottom of my base. And then we'll let these both dry together. All right, and now we have our legs glued on, our little feet. We need to glue these onto here in the corners. And I think the best way to do that is going to be turning it on its side like this. Our base, we'll turn it on its side like that. Then we're going to take our spindles. We'll take 2 of our spindles, set the other 2 over here, and we're going to glue those on to the bottom like this. We'll actually glue them. This is going to be the top of my base, and we're going to make sure we have them spaced properly. And then we're going to glue these on to our base, and we're going to do that completely around until they're dry. So what we're going to do is we're going to put these on, let them dry, then we're going to flip it over and we're going to put these 2 on and let those dry. So let me get that done and I'll be right back. And now that our piece has dried, we have this beautiful little lantern. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take mine out and I'm going to spray paint it white, and then I'm going to give it a rough stain over the top to make it look like driftwood. So let's go ahead and take this out and spray paint it. I also want to show you my technique of spray painting. I got asked this question in my last video on how I spray paint so evenly without getting runs or like bubbles or anything in my paint. So let me go ahead and take you out and I'll show you how. Now, when I'm spray painting, I like to do it in a slow, sweeping motion, and I keep my spray paint can about 8 to 12 inches above. I start spraying a little bit before the project starts as well, as you can see, and I like to just do layers upon layers of paint. You first have to get that tacky layer down, and that really helps build your other layers. That way you won't get runs. And the one thing I have learned, and I learned this from my father-in-law, is you have to be patient when you're spray painting. Patience is key. All right, now that we have it painted white with our enamel paint, we're going to take some of this Waverly Wax Antique Stain, and we're going to cover our piece. We want it to look like a beechwood, like a piece of driftwood. We want it to be just a light stain, so we're going to put it on there, and then I'm going to wipe most of it off. And then, my craft friends, once we have it stained and we've given it a coat of the Rust-Oleum Clear Gloss Enamel, we're left with this beautiful wood lantern. And I just love the detail of the spindle and the square dowel. Now, you can put anything in here you like. You can put florals, you can leave it open, you can do whatever you prefer. But I do know that the Pottery Barn version has a hurricane vase with a flicker flame candle inside. Now, I don't have a flicker flame that fits inside this particular hurricane glass, but I did style it with this candle, and I think it looks so pretty with the seashells at the bottom. Now we're moving on to DIY number 2. Now for this project, we're getting inspiration from this piece right here. And I just love the nautical lines of it. I also love the modern feel to it as well. So you're going to need a photo frame or a picture frame of your choice. I'm going to be using this 8x10 with the 5x7 center. And we're going to be using some of this rope wood trim from Lowe's. I love this stuff. It is so beautiful. And so we're going to be using that. And you'll need some spray paint of your preferred color. And I'm going to be spray painting mine with a black matte and then covering it with a beautiful clear gloss. So let's go ahead and get started. And this is very, very simple project actually, because what I did is I cut the wood with a hand miter saw kit, and you can get them at Walmart. You can get them, I actually got mine at Lowe's back a few years ago, and I just love it. And one of the tricks I'll say with the hand miter box is make sure that you get a regular hand saw. You know, the kind that your grandfather and your father had, the one that has the long thing with the handle. Trust me, that works the best. That little saw they give you with the, oh my goodness, you'll be the forever saw, and it's not sharp, and it has limits to it, and it's just annoying. So if you're going to do it by hand, which I wanted to do all these projects by hand because they were small little cuts, and with the bigger machinery like the miter saws, the electric miter saws, I'm not really comfortable in cutting those little pieces because they will fly off and ricochet, and trust me, I almost had my finger taken off by a piece of 2x4 that did that. So after that, I became very, very cautious. So anyways, like I said, get yourself one of those big saws. They don't cost much, and you're going to be set to go to do a lot of projects. So what I did is I took this and I cut it into my pieces. Now, in the Pottery Barn version, they kind of angle cut the corners, but we're not going to do that because I wanted to make it look a little bit more kind of nautical and different from the original piece. So I cut 2 pieces that are going to go on the side like this, and then I cut 2 pieces, smaller pieces, that will go right in between the 2 larger pieces. So we start by getting these cut, and that's easy. You just take whatever size frame you're going to use, and you'll just measure your 2 long sides and your short side, or if you're using a square, you just measure all the sides and just make sure that these fit in the middle like that. Perfect, huh? So let's go ahead and take our frame apart. I took off the wrapping ahead of time. We're going to set this aside. I also gave it a good sanding on the front side of my frame. It was a little shiny and I wanted the glue to adhere. Now we have that done. We've roughed up our surface. We're just going to take our pieces and glue them down. Now I want my piece to be straight with the edge over here, but you can do it however you like. But I would prefer mine to be straight with the outside edge and then kind of hide the inside edge. So let's go ahead and glue them down. All right, now we have our wood glued on. We're going to take it outside and we're going to spray the whole thing, sides, back, everything. We're going to spray it in this matte black, this ultra matte by Rust-Oleum. So let's go ahead and do that. And now we have our frame sprayed black, and we have given it a few coats of the gloss clear enamel from Rust-Oleum. So now we just have to put our picture frame back together. Now you can use this as a photo frame for a personal photo, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this drawing that my husband drew of a lobster, and he colored it in and everything. He drew the whole photo and I made copies of it. So I'm going to use this as my artwork in my frame. And I'm going to start by putting my glass in. Then we'll put our mat and our picture in. And our backing. And then once we have our back on, we're left with this beautiful piece of home decor. And I think it looks quite similar to the inspiration piece. What do you guys think? Now we're moving on to DIY number 3. Now this is going to be getting inspiration from this piece here at Pottery Barn. I saw it and fell in love with it, and I thought, how can I recreate this? Well, in the process of trying to figure out how I was going to recreate it at a more affordable cost point, I ran across this at Lowe's, and it lights up. How fun is that? It's all done for me, and it's a fraction of the cost. But to kind of make mine original or my own and add some more flair to it, like the one in the Pottery Barn inspiration piece, I took some of this burlap ribbon that I purchased from Hobby Lobby. I made a simple little pinch bow, secured it with a zip tie, and then I just am going to take it and feed it through the bow on this, feed it through the center of the bow on this piece, bring it to the middle, and then we're just going to fluff up our ribbon ends, our bow ends. And then we have this cute little piece that has a little bit of uniqueness to it. And then look at it lit up, and it takes 3 AA batteries, but let me light it up for you. You can't see it as well in the daylight, but I will light it up in the dark for you as well. But I think it is so beautiful, and like I said, a fraction of the cost from the one in Pottery Barn.